All right, guys, we have an absolute ton to go over today. There was so much that happened. We were on Rapid Fire, Reddit, Ask Me Anything, Planet Zoo Deluxe Edition, new beta trailer. It was a lot to keep up with. So hopefully we'll go ahead and just jump right into it and, hopefully break some of this down and kind of condense what all happened today. So we'll just, first what we'll do is we'll jump into Bo's beta information post from this morning. Actually, quote, more beta information. This was posted on the official forums right after the gameplay trailer reveal, and it says, "Hello, Zookeepers. We are less than 1 week away from the Planet Zoo beta, and we've just released a brand new trailer to celebrate. You guys just watched that. As you all know, the Planet Zoo beta runs from September 24th to October 8th for those who have purchased the Planet Zoo Deluxe Edition. Today we want to give you some additional information so you know what to expect, what activities you can take part in, and where to go if you get stuck." So it says, when is it available to play? We aim to have the Planet Zoo beta live by 4 p.m. British summertime on September 24th, so 4 p.m. BST, and is expected to run until 5 p.m. BST on October 8th. It says, whilst we can't support preloading the beta at this time, I know some of you guys were asking about trying to preload that. She says the download size will be a relatively small 10 gigabytes. Hopefully that should let you jump in quickly. Here's another important part. What's available to play? The Planet Zoo beta will feature the following. Scenario 1 of career mode. No additional scenarios as we don't want to spoil the story ahead of launch. This features the first part of the tutorial within the temperate biome, several objectives, and has free to play after the objectives are completed. The next mode is franchise mode. This features a full economy within the savanna biome and will not contain any narrative or objectives. So you will start with an empty map and develop your zoo from there. The animal market will be available, of course, online only. Please note you can only have one franchise per player, but your franchises can feature multiple zoos. So the one thing about that is, guys, remember, sandbox mode will not be available. But as talking to John T and a couple other people throughout the day, it seems like franchise mode is like you're on like sandbox diet mode. I've been calling it sandbox light. So still you'll have an open map. So that is kind of, if you had your hopes up on the sandbox mode, that will actually not be a part of the beta. So like we said, though, as far as having the in-game mechanics and stuff like that going within the franchise mode, you still will be able to enjoy that with a completely empty map. So the beta won't be all story driven. And then she says, a host of previously announced animals as well as some new species to discover. So obviously we're going to pull up this beta on Tuesday and we get to discover the new animals for ourselves, some of them. So various staff types and buildings, various themes and rides, research options, and in-game Zoopedia and habitat blueprints. And here's another thing that really set a lot of us Planet Coaster players off today. It says, in parentheses here, we've made an upgrade to the blueprints you may know from Planet Coaster. When you select your blueprint, it will now also include any terrain you've put around it. So now, guys, you won't have to go in and do all that weird terrain work. And like when we're putting these blueprints on the workshop, we won't have to hope that you do it how we envisioned it. All of that will transfer now. So really awesome stuff that they've been able to figure out with that. And then she says the Planet Zoo Steam Workshop will be activated during the beta, which means you can upload and share any in-game blueprints you create. However, please note that we cannot guarantee to support your beta blueprints upon launch, as we may need to wipe your blueprints if we discover something post-beta that invalidates them. The beta will be localized in all available in-game languages, and then they've got the official language full list on the actual forum website. And then, of course, we got to go to what's not available to play, sandbox mode, like we just touched on a minute ago. However, you can replay both maps as often as you like with the available in-game mechanics and economies. What's not available? Saved games. You can save your project at any time during the beta, but all saved games will be invalidated upon launch. None of the deluxe animals, the Komodo dragon, the pygmy hippopotamus, or the Thompson's gazelle, as well as some other already announced animals. Planet Zoo Beta focuses on a wide selection of animals, with the rest being available upon launch. So you won't, like, once this beta launches, you won't see the Komodo dragon, the pygmy hippo, or the Thompson's gazelle. Those are not a part of this. And the last thing, full career mode is not available. You only have access to scenario 1 because, like I said, they don't want to spoil the scenarios and the story before the full game launches. And then, of course, she says, of course, all things above will be available as far as launch goes. So that was one of the big questions for me that Delady Signer, a couple of them were asking on the Reddit as well, which we'll cover in a minute. But I was wondering, will the sandbox mode have all animals unlocked and all scenery and building pieces right from the get-go? Basically, it might sound a little selfish, but I was like, I don't want another Jurassic World Evolution. I don't want to have to play like 2 or 3 hours of the game or go through a big campaign mode just to unlock animals for my sandbox park. Like, if you offer a sandbox mode, I want to be able to jump right in and see every animal and use every piece. I don't want any of that locked behind a forced story mode or a campaign or a scenario. And luckily, Bo has confirmed that today that is not the case. Sandbox mode will come with everything. So basically, to wrap up her part, and then we'll move on to the Reddit AMA, she said, this all sounds great, but yes, we know we're still working with a special beta build of the game, and this is the first time lots of players get their hands on Planet Zoo. What could go wrong? In case you do run into trouble, anything from game crashes to bugs, we urge you to log all your findings via the issue tracker. This way we can keep an eye on what's going on with everyone's games and jump in with critical fixes where needed. Of course, we are also available on the official forums and via our customer support team, but you can also help us react quickly by reporting diligently. We will have to prioritize issues when they come in, so do bear with us during beta time. But of course, our main goal is for everyone to have an amazing Planet Zoo experience, so thank you in advance for your valuable feedback. We will also post a known issues thread on September 24th. So a lot of exciting stuff, guys. And like I said, when we jump into these kind of betas, we don't know what we're going to face. We don't know what kind of weirdness is going to happen. But, like we said, we'll kind of push through it and hopefully have a productive 2 weeks and get this stuff out of the way, or mitigate as much as we can before the full, thousands and thousands of people jump on in November for that ever important launch day. You remember, like a day or two after Planet Coaster launched, like right on that launch day, if you look at the Steam database, that was the most concurrent players ever at one time. I think it was like 24,000 people were playing Planet Coaster on Steam at the same time. So very, very important couple of days, really important first weekend. So like I said, we can kind of help them maybe hammer out any issues that we notice with the 2 weeks that we have our hand on the game. But nonetheless, now that we've got that out of the way, let's jump right in to the Reddit AMA from this morning. All right, guys, now with our next recap of today's events, I have to give a massive shout out to our, basically one of our volunteer community managers, Joel. He does such an awesome job. Definitely one of my go-tos if I have any kind of weird questions. I bug this guy all throughout the week, and he never ever has a problem. And he's like actually from the Netherlands, so sometimes I could be bugging him at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and he always has points me in the right direction. And there is a lot of stuff Joel does behind the scenes that helps a lot of us content creators out, and a lot of forum members look for his help, and I look for Joel to actually be a real part of a community team, if not with Frontier, with some kind of dev company one day, because that guy is absolutely knocking it out of the park when it comes to his organization skills and his presentation is, the presentation and his upbeat attitude and just willingness to help total strangers, kind of just navigate all of this information. And that kind of leads us into my next point. I thought I was going to have to scroll down through all of the Reddit posts. It ended up being way over 300 questions today, but they weren't able to get to everybody's question. Well, insert Joel. He has came in and actually has broken down for us every single Reddit question from the Planet Zoo developers today, and he's compiled a list of all of the ones that they have answered. So now we don't have to go through and scroll through hundreds of questions to see if maybe Bo or Piers or Andy or one of them actually went through and answered it. Joel has got that marked down for us, so I can absolutely not thank him enough, and really awesome job on this, Joel. And we will go ahead and jump right in. So if you guys aren't familiar, some of the devs and Bo had jumped on Reddit this morning, to the PC Gaming Reddit. And, I should have listened to Jonty a couple days ago when he was talking about, when they first put it on Reddit, I was kind of one of the ones like, oh my God, they're just asking to be ripped apart, because we all know Reddit can have its, it's got its kind of like condescending tendencies. There can really be some douchers over on Reddit, but Jonty's like, man, just chill. I'm sure once the actual questions start, the BS will kind of filter its way out and the cream will rise to the top, so to speak. And, in true Jonty fashion, he was absolutely correct. The trolling was at a very minimum, and this was really substantial, really substantive questioning that went on today. And Mark and Piers and Bo and Andy, they did a really cool job kind of tackling some of this stuff and putting themselves out there, what could have been a very hostile Reddit environment, but it actually ended up being very informative. So let's go ahead and we will jump right in. The first question that came up that was answered by Bo, it says, hi, is there any hope with integration with Planet Coaster to make some kind of mega park? So this person is saying, can you play Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo at the same time? Bo says, hi, thanks for your question. I take it you're a Planet Coaster player. Yay! While Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo exist in the same universe, they are ultimately a different game experience. And then Shantae said that they've kind of been saying this for a while, but any of you guys that haven't heard this, they've officially said it. Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo will not cross over. So I know you guys, some of you had your hopes up for some like Busch Gardens type building. That is not going to happen, unfortunately, for this version. Now, who knows? Drew and I and Jonty, we've had a lot of discussions about Planet Coaster 2. So keep that in mind one day. What if they are designing Planet Coaster 2 with Planet Zoo compatibility in mind? So, like I said, they're not totally killing it. They're just saying not with the original Planet Coaster. Next up, the person asks, will there be any mammalian or bird exhibit animals? And then favorite animal of all of them, if I'd have to pick, the person said elephants. Bo said, hi, thanks for your question. The elephant is a great pick, one of the most emotionally intelligent animals around. Our exhibit animals consist of a varied roster of reptiles and creepy crawlers, many of which we've not announced yet. So she kind of hit on the elephant part, but did not really touch on the bird part per se. So there's the answer on that. And then that person, another person said, one more question if I may. Since you added my favorite animal, the hippo, did all of your favorite animals get added to the game? Bo said, what a lovely question. Good to know you like the hippo as much as we do. I can only speak for myself, and the cheetah is definitely in game, so I'm very happy. Although I'm loving the African wild dogs in game as well. Then next up, this person said, hi there. I was wondering if sandbox mode had to be unlocked like it does in Jurassic World Evolution. Oh, and my favorite animal is a red panda. Bo said, hi, what a surprise that the red panda is your favorite. That come from Red Panda 1316. Happy to tell you that Sandbox is available from the very start and does not have to be unlocked. Just to let you know, though, that Sandbox won't be available in beta next week, but it'll be there upon launch in November for you. Next person up, Titanium Gold Alloy Man, said, I'm a big fan of the old Zoo Tycoon games and interested in Planet Zoo. Are you going to release marine animals and prehistoric animals like the old games? Also, my favorite animal is the cheetah. Thank you for the AMA. Bo said, hey, Titanium Gold Alloy Man, epic name there. My favorite animal is the cheetah also, and thank you for being a part of the AMA. We currently don't have any announcements on that, I'm afraid. We're focusing on launch at the moment, but we will be keeping our eyes on your feedback after that as well. So yeah, being really holding it close to the cuff on any kind of marine animal, prehistoric animal like the old games for right now. Totally focused on launch. Lost My Mag said, will Theme Maker Toolkit be released at launch earlier into the game's life? And Bo said, hi, Lost My Mag, and thanks for the question. There's currently nothing to announce about the Theme Maker's Toolkit for Planet Zoo, but happy to hear that I assume you've used it in Planet Coaster. So there you go, guys. No TMTK for Planet Zoo right off the bat. And then Cassie Face said, thanks. I don't have a question. I'm just here because I'm stoked for this game, and I can't wait to learn even more. Bighorn sheep and addax are my favorite animals to work with, but I can't pick an overall favorite. And then Akarit said, just wanted to thank you guys for doing this with us. Bo said, thanks for having us. And then Delady's part, hers come up and said, thanks so much for doing this. I do have a couple questions, which I hope you can answer. And what I'll do is she put 9 questions on there, a lot of them from her Discord. I'll read the first question, and then I'll tell you Bo's answer. So first up, Delady said, are we able to use our saved file from the beta in the launch version? Bo said, we actually released loads of info about the beta today, and then they linked it. But Delady had these questions earlier in the week, so these kind of had already made their way to the Reddit. But then Bo says, all saves will unfortunately be invalidated for launch. Then Delady said, will beta have all the features of the launch version, or will things or animals be left out of the beta version? If so, can you tell us what will be excluded? Bo said, I'd check out the post above. There's loads of info there. Short answer, the beta is a focused selection of animals and one scenario only to not spoil the story. So obviously, again, the beta will not feature all the animals we'll get on launch. Delady said, will the sandbox map be as big as the Planet Coaster sandbox map? Bo said, it is the same size as the Planet Coaster sandbox map. Yay for lots of building. 4, she said, will all animals and themes be available when playing Sandbox, or will you need to unlock that? Then once again, Bo said everything is available on Sandbox, just like Planet Coaster in that regard. Delady said, will there be a scenario editor like we had in Planet Coaster? Bo said, I cannot answer this at the moment. Delady said, will there be settings in the Sandbox mode that you can turn off? For example, the radius around staff buildings that will make guests unhappy. Bo said there may be some toggles, but sandbox mode options won't inherently change the way the game works. And then Delady said, can you tell us more about the camera option we saw in the game but couldn't click? Will this be a cinematic camera like we've seen in JWE or something? And then Bo said, I cannot answer this at the moment. Sorry. And then Delady said, will guests be able to interact with building items like staff do? Walk over them, or are they bound to use paths only? And will guests avoid, for example, walls on a path and walk around it, or will they walk through it? Will we get to make, then we get curbs or barrel planters like in Planet Coaster to make sure they don't walk around it. And Bo just said, nice try, lady. And the lady's last question is, can you explain more about how babies and adult animals grow and in what stages? And Bo said, animals scale throughout their lifetime. We did a developer journal on our official forums that has a lot of information, but basically animals have a juvenile and adult stage, and animals only scale throughout their adult phase. So they can go from young adult to full grown adult. Hope this clarifies most of them. Thanks you and your Discord for being here. But yeah, there we go, guys. Now, there are so many of these. We'll go through a couple more, but this list is so large. We could be here for an hour and a half. So to go ahead and just cut your all's time a little short. So I'm sure you probably don't want to sit here and hang out with me for 30, 45 minutes or an hour and a half. We will just, we'll pick through a few more of these and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And maybe what we'll do is I could probably stretch this out into a couple Reddit videos, and maybe that's kind of what we'll do looking into the rest of the week. And then of course covering more information that drops, but this is some really good stuff. But like I said, it is like they answered over 100 questions. So, you know, there's a lot of material here for us to go over. The next person said, hi, thank you guys for doing an AMA. My questions are, how did you decide what animals will be in the final release versus saved for future DLC? Have you made any pathing tweaks with Planet Zoo versus Planet Coaster? Piers said it was quite a tough decision. There's so many animals that we could choose from. Ultimately, we created a really long list and aimed for a good degree of diversity, including some animals you'd expect and some that you wouldn't. We also wanted a diverse range of conservation statuses from critically endangered to least concern. And then Bo Merritt said, here's Piers' answer on a similar question in the AMA. Thanks for your questions, by the way. Also, always nice to meet fellow Planet players. The pathing system is very similar to Planet Coaster, but we have added the amazing staff paths feature, which is sure to give you a good think about how to place your paths and optimize your staff schedules. And so there's a few others that I kind of want to hit on down through here. And I think, like I said, I think these might just kind of have to wait for another, kind of like another video. One person said, hi, how many animals are there all together? My favorite animal is a duck. And Bo said, hi, at the moment we can say it's many more than 50, with a load more for you to discover when the game launches. The beta next week will focus on a selection of animals. Hope you'll enjoy the game. And then another person says, hi, will vendors and staffing work similar to how they worked in Planet Coaster? And Bo said, great question. Yes, they will be very similar to Planet Coaster. Your staff has needs. They will need to be managed in terms of pay, training, and roster. There's also a couple staff types that weren't in Planet Coaster, like the veterinarian and zookeeper. Hope you're as excited as we are. And the last one I see is, hey, will you guys be at EGX in London next month? And Bo said, yes, we will definitely be there, and there'll be more information on that soon. So yes, guys, I will be bringing you more information as well. So if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe to keep up with all of this Planet Zoo mischief, and be on the lookout for some more videos. I mean, I might get a wild hair here in a little bit. I'm going to go grab something to drink since I've been yapping here this long, and maybe try to knock out some more of this Reddit AMA. If you guys aren't big Redditors, or if you haven't got a chance to look at this, I'll try to get a couple more videos recorded, and so hopefully maybe if questions that you've been wondering about, maybe they have been covered and answered on the AMA today. And I'll mark my spot here on Joel's post, and I'll kind of mark off what we've already read about and what we've already asked. So once again, big thank you to Joel. Big thank you to you guys for continually coming back and supporting the channel. Thank you to my Patreons. Got a secret Planet Coaster roller coaster I'm working on right now just for the Patreons. We'll release it to the public when it's completely done, but a lot of interesting stuff still going on over there. One of my Bro Nation buddies, Ruby, has a really, really cool Planet Coaster a series that started right now. So Planet Coaster, definitely not dead in our eyes. So we'll still definitely be checking that out. Beyond Drew and Jonty and I have another podcast we're getting ready to start on. So that'll give you about an hour's worth of chit chat and nonsense for us to kind of, just kind of mingle on about. But anyways, guys, yeah, I'm S. Dan Wolf. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. And I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you. See you guys.